he coming from? The other side. Oh, okay. So is he gonna go here? She's- Are we ready? Yes, sir. Thank you all for being here this afternoon. We greatly appreciate your time, and we have information to share with you. My name is Russell Strickland. I'm the Secretary of the Maryland Department of Emergency Management, and we're responsible overall for the coordination of major events within the state. So we'll be here today and have the opportunity and the honor to present to you the governor for some remarks, and then I'll have some remarks, and then the Department of Transportation Secretary will have remarks for you today, and then a question and answer period. So with that, let me introduce our governor, and we appreciate very much your time.
Thank you so much, Rick. Thank you so much. Thank you. And good afternoon, everybody. And to Secretary Strickland, just thank you for your just indefatigable leadership that you've continued to show. So we truly appreciate it. And I also want to just start by thanking all of the men and women who have worked around the clock to be able to prepare for this storm. As a Marylander, I can tell you that we are surrounded by the best. And the folks who have just truly made sure that we weren't just prepared for the storm, but also prepared for the aftermath of it. We have the deepest debt of gratitude and the deepest thanks. And that includes all of our folks from the National Guard, from the Maryland Department of Transportation, from the Maryland Department of Emergency Management, and also from the Maryland State Police. They have worked throughout this entire weekend to make sure that Maryland was going to be ready for this. And on a personal note, I just want to say what an honor it is to be able to work alongside each and every one of you, and just thank you for everything you do for the people of this state. I also want to thank our local leaders as well. Our local leaders have been working in partnership with our remarkable state team, and all the state and local leadership, and that includes the elected officials, that includes law enforcement, that includes our fire departments, that includes our emergency medical services, and that also includes our rescue teams. To them, I just want to say a heartfelt thank you. You all truly are the sentinels of our state, and when duty calls, no matter the conditions, no matter the challenge, you all are the ones who are there to answer, and we appreciate it. This Saturday, I declared a state of preparedness to ensure a measure of coordination that would exist across all of our state agencies, and we issued guidance to all Marylanders on how they should stay safe. And after issuing the state of preparedness, we continue to monitor the storm closely. We continue to see that the evidence that this was going to be a weather event that had the potential to threaten our state, to threaten our communities, and to threaten our people. And so yesterday, after seeing that information, I signed an executive order declaring an official state of emergency. An official state of emergency that ordered the directing of all of our state agencies to conduct preparatory actions. We also called on all Marylanders to stay off the roads and allow the professionals to do their job, and also closed state government for today, January 6th. The Department of Emergency Management raised the activation level to full and stood up the State Emergency Operations Center. And the State Highway Administration began pre-treating state roads on Friday for snow and continued applying salt all weekend. I want to highlight the fact that once the state of preparedness was laid out, this remarkable team has been working on this not for hours, but for days in preparation for this snow event. Snow crews hit the roads overnight as snow started to fall early in the morning to ensure that we stayed on top of this storm. And as of this morning, the State Highway Administration and the Maryland Transportation Authority have deployed nearly 3,000 personnel to treat and plow state routes. So I know that for a lot of Marylanders, that you woke up this morning seeing the sight of snow on the street, and it was exciting. And I know that in our household, I had shrieking children who are excited to the delight of seeing the snowfall and the first major snowfall of the season. But I do want to be very, very clear to the people of this state. This is still an active state of emergency. This is still an active state of emergency. And we are asking the people of the state to remain vigilant. Throughout this morning, crews worked through snowfall rates exceeding 1¼ inches of snow per hour. We have already seen 7 inches of snow accumulate in certain parts of the state, and the snow has been increasingly heavy in southern Maryland and also in the Eastern Shore. Those are also places that I know that are not as accustomed to seeing the kind of snow levels and the snow accumulation that they have been seeing over the process of these past hours. So my office has been in close contact with officials in all of these jurisdictions, and we will continue to over-communicate with our partners going forward, both from the office and also from ourselves personally. Now, for a lot of Marylanders who are looking outside their windows, they might see a break in the snow and think that this snow emergency is now behind us. But I do want to be clear to everybody in our state, current forecasts are projecting snowfall to pick up again later in the afternoon. We are also expecting the temperatures to lower for the rest of the week. So I want to stress one more time to the people of our state, we are still in an active state of emergency, and everyone needs to remain vigilant. With that, that means something incredibly important to the people of our state. I'm going to issue the same guidance that I issued last night. Please stay off the roads. Unless there is an emergency or a reason that you need to be on the roads, please stay off and allow the emergency personnel to be able to ensure that we can get the roads clean and keep them safe for every single Marylander. For every Marylander who does not understand what that means, if you find yourself in a precarious position, you are not just putting yourself at risk, you are putting emergency personnel at risk as well. That's not fair to them. That's not fair to their family members. Please stay off the roads. We will let the professionals do their jobs so we can all stay safe. And in the event that you absolutely must be on the roads today, please make sure that your vehicles are prepared, and please make sure that your vehicles are weather ready. Drive slow, be safe, and stay behind the plows. If you get into a bad situation, please pull off the road as far as possible. Please activate your hazards, and also please remain in your vehicle. I will repeat it again. If you get in a bad situation, please pull off the road as far as possible. Please activate your hazards, and please remain in your vehicle. Marylanders should dial #77 for road assistance from our first responders and the state highways chart crews. And if you want to stay updated on our preparedness, please go to mdem.maryland.gov. To all Marylanders, I just want to leave you with this, the same thing that we share to our team every single day. Take care of yourselves, take care of your people, take care of each other. And our thoughts continue to be with all of our first responders and all of our crews who are out there right now as we speak working, making sure that every single Marylander is going to be safe and every single Marylander can feel secure. With that, I will now turn it back over to Secretary Strickland.
I don't mind saying you stole all my comments. But with that, I do want to share with you all some of the preparatory actions that we've gone through, because we have been preparing for this event for nearly 5 to 6 days prior to it. We begin that really on Thursday of this past week, where we start telephone calls or conference calls with our local partners as well as our state agencies, and then there are some federal partners that are included in that. We have long-established relationships with these folks, so it is simple for us to bring everybody together. And today, when I say we bring everybody together, that's about 200, 250 people on a conference call. So it runs extremely well. We are coordinating this through the governor's office and with the governor's office and other partners, local jurisdictions and the private sector to help ensure the safety of all Marylanders. We're in close contact with the governor's office over the weekend, and as he mentioned, we declared a state of preparedness. As we met a certain threshold going into this storm, fearing that it was a little bit more than we had anticipated, especially in certain areas of the state, we requested and received a state of emergency. We continue to receive regular updates from our partners at the National Weather Service, who have been with us every minute through the entire event. And that means that they really give us the information as current as possible and give us a good forecast to work with. Now, this will continue to be a busy week as we coordinate this response to this weather event and several days of cold, very cold weather while supporting our partners in the National Capital Region with multiple events. So emphasizing the fact that this event is going to continue with the cold weather for possibly the next 2 weeks. And with that, we're looking at another storm possibly coming in next weekend. But with our partners in the National Capital Region, we've been working closely with the certification of the vote that happened today at the Capitol, and also the preparations and the funeral for past President Carter. So Marylanders should continue to be vigilant as cold air will remain in place, where the National Weather Service tells us there very may well be another storm coming this coming weekend. What is it you should do? Listen. Listen to your local emergency management office, your local jurisdictions, the state highway, our Department of Transportation, our office, and we will give good information as to what it is you need to do to be prepared. But just some of the basics, drive, please stay off the roads. If you do not need to drive, stay off the roads. Dress warmly and in layers. And please check on vulnerable family, neighbors, and friends that you may have, because this is going to be, again, an ongoing cold, and we need to continue to check on those folks. Keep your devices charged in case of power outages, and so far we've been pretty reasonable with that and actually lucky with that. Include blankets, hats, mittens, and other warm clothing in your preparedness kit during the winter months. Bring pets inside if possible. Please do not forget your pets. With that, create a safe space for them outside if they have to be, but try and keep them as warm and safe from the elements as possible. Winterize your vehicles. There are simple instructions of how to do that. Keep your gas tank at least half full to keep ice from building up in your gas tank and fuel lines. Take precautions to prevent pipes from freezing in your home. Keep a supply of driveway salt or non-crumbling kitty litter ready to go, because you can spread that and it will help with the surfaces that have ice on them. And if you're not in good physical condition, be careful when shoveling snow. Please be very careful with that. And check for updates to the National Weather Service. Sign up for the Maryland Ready text alerts to receive news about the storm, watches, and warnings. And again, as the governor had mentioned, you can go to our website, which is mdem.maryland.gov. And with that, it's my honor to introduce to you Secretary Paul Wiedefeld, who is the Secretary for the Maryland Department of Transportation, and he's got some remarks for you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Secretary. I also wanted to thank our state police and also the National Guard for all the assistance you've been providing as well, and obviously, Governor, your leadership, but also all the Marylanders who have heeded the request to stay off the roads unless you really, really need to be on there. The Governor mentioned we have almost 3,000 individuals out there, hundreds of pieces of equipment out there. Put in perspective, we have 17,000 lane miles that we're responsible for, and we're trying to, in effect, touch every one of those every 90 minutes. So it's a big operation that will continue around the clock. So please, if you see some of our vehicles out there, some of our crews out there, please slow down, stay behind them. If you do pass them very cautiously to make sure that everyone remains safe. I also want to mention that obviously the storm also impacts our other modes of transportation, particularly transit. So you need to go to the MTA website to get the latest, because we have to do different things for there, whether it's the MARC service, light rail, metro, or bus. And that can change by the hour. So please go to that website to see those services. And also, if you're planning a trip or picking up someone from the airport, airport to contact the airlines, since they control those landings and departures, to make sure that if you're coming down there, you don't miss your flight, or if it gets canceled, you don't waste your time coming down to the airport. So in closing, please, safety obviously is our number one priority, and we want it to be yours. So thank you so much. Secretary Strickland.
So at this point in time, we would be open for questions from anyone.
Do we know, and this might be a question for you, sir, but do we have like final numbers or the totals of accidents and injuries and any potential fatalities that have occurred in the last 24 hours?
We do not have any final numbers, obviously, but we don't have any significant issues of that nature to report.
Any other questions? And we do have the state police and the National Guard here too, who can address any questions.
What issues are you all seeing on the roads? Are we having a lot of drivers run off the roads, vehicles disabled? What are you guys seeing? If you could kind of paint that picture.
Well, I think through the state police, he can give you some numbers on both of those that you're asking about.
When you talk about the problems we're experiencing, a lot of it's drivers that are overestimating their driving abilities. They're skidding off the road, things like that. Fortunately, we have additional law enforcement personnel out there, along with chart personnel, to help them get on their way. You heard some very valuable tidbits here. Be prepared. Make sure your vehicle is prepared. Stay with your vehicle. We can get to you. We're going to keep our crews working around the clock. One of the biggest concerns we have is with this midnight freeze. We don't want anybody out there stuck overnight. It'll take some time for us to get to you, so please be prepared. We will get to you as quickly as we can.
Any other questions?
Were there any major lessons learned a few years ago when drivers got stranded on 95 in a bad winter storm? What have we learned since then to implement in this response?
That's, you're referring to the situation in Virginia that year, basically. Okay.
Was it 83?
Some with it, yeah, but yeah. Basically, it's a more open lines of communications with our local jurisdictions and our partners so that we can get there and be there sooner than later, as well as preparing ahead of time and working closely with the Weather Service as to what the snowfall or the ice anticipation might be. And if possible, we even close roads down before that.
This may sound like a silly question, but for people who do have to be out, like us, I mean, do you want us to, is it safer to take the highways? Or like main roads, like a Town Road? What's the safer thing to do in terms of what the road conditions are that we know?
Well, I think you should go where the road conditions are the safest. And many times, the major roads are safer than back roads are. If the road has not been plowed at all, that would not be the road you'd want to take. Where the main roads are going to be the first ones and the highest priority to be treated or plowed, basically.
Do you recommend the highway first?
Mm-hmm.
And then main road?
Yes, I would. And particularly if everyone who doesn't need to be on the roadway would stay off the roadway so that those like you, as well as the fire rescue EMS, hospital personnel who need to get to work, can get there.
So in the days ahead, you guys are continuing on, is it like 12-hour shifts or what is it?
The State Emergency Operations Center is on 12-hour shifts, which you all are on.
Yeah, we have for each mode of transportation, we have different shifts, to be frank. So at the airport, we're running 10-hour shifts with different breaks for different people. At the highway, it'll be 12 hours, 8 hours. It depends on the conditions.
What roads are you, just so people are clear, what roads are you all responsible for?
Any numbered road is a state highway. So any road like York Road 45, Liberty Road 26, those roads. And obviously any of the interstate roadways are ours as well.
Well, just, maybe we can get this, but the update on like the calls for service, those numbers, I know that 2 hours ago, there was a tweet about since 1 a.m. If we can get that updated eventually, or if you have that.
At this point, this information is probably about an hour old here. Since 1 a.m. this morning, the Maryland State Police have handled 23 incidents that required a written accident report. Other than that, there were 150 incidents that did not require a report, which we provided case numbers and got that person on their way. There were over 219 disabled vehicles, and calls for service were sitting just short of 700 at this juncture.
How does that volume sit with you? Is that?
In my years of experience, the numbers that I just provided are astounding. People are staying off the roads. They're lessening the impact